Is there anything you've seen recently from the Seahawks that makes you think this game could be a different story than the last time we beat them?
Not really, because I mean they scored some points on us late on our last matchup. That being said, just Kenneth Walker is tough, right? But we got Kinlaw back, so I expect to see the run defense, uh, dialed up a bit. So I'm not so concerned too much about Kenneth Walker.
Mm-hmm.
As far as Mooney Ward and DK Metcalf, DK's got temper tantrums. He very easily allows himself to get flustered. He's vulnerable, right?
For sure.
So and Mooney Ward's going to be, he's so good at getting in your head, regardless of who
Mm-hmm.
you are, that he knows that if he can throw him off, he will. And I guarantee you, we will start to see Seattle start to break down. But it's Tyler Lockett, I think, on offense that concerns me. Veteran, just knows how to get himself open. He found that late touchdown in the end zone where Huff kind of lost him. He
Yeah.
thought he was going to go to the outside. Well, Huff went to the outside, and Tyler Lockett just sat down right there in the end zone, right there. It made it. It was a simple, but the play broke down. So I will say Tyler Lockett is my most concern. Geno, Gino's gonna use his legs a bit, but I'm not worried about Gino as much as I'm worried about Tyler Lockett.
Mm-hmm.
They got that tight end. What's his name?
They
Kobe
got
Parkinson.
Parkinson, and they got Fant.
That kid, that dude, versus the Rams kind of showed up, and I wasn't really familiar with him, and I don't really remember him doing anything, if anything, versus the Niners the last matchup. It was mostly Fant, right? So,
and they had Disley at the time too.
They did have Disley.
Yeah, I think he was hurt I think he's hurt now.
I would say on defense, Pete, it's definitely Tariq Woolen and Quandre Diggs.
Oof,
those two,
yes.
They freak me out, right? They freak me out. So as long as we control, intermediate stuff, the dink and dunk is our specialty. If we can just, our screen game should be solid. That's where I'm really banking the majority of our success in offense is going to be the run game and the screen game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be awesome because I think they're going to try to take Kittle out of the contest, but we still have Tyler Kroft. You could do a dual. You could do a two tight end set where you could have Kroft as your X factor. I kind of think
Kroft is an unheralded guy too. Like I like Kroft. I really like Kroft.
I do too. And it's like Kyle utilizes these guys very little. You forget about them. You come up against a division opponent, and then you got a guy like Tyler Kroft making plays, right? So I kind of expect to see Tyler Kroft a little bit more this game, just because I kind of anticipate them taking Kittle out, or at least trying to control Kittle, because Kittle has been lights out with Brock Purdy. And with Brock Purdy, he gets to be a tight end again. So, it's, but then you still have Jawan Jennings. You still have Debo. We get Debo back. We have McCaffrey. We have Juice. Like, there's just so many.
It's just embarrassment of weapons. It's just so
too many to plan for, bro. Like, that was the one thing, right? When we got CMC, we knew that this was going to be a defensive coordinator's nightmare, trying to game plan for all these guys, knowing that someone is going to be a problem. So with that said, man, I think it's Tyler Lockett for me on offense. Okay. And for defense, it's Woolen and Quandre Diggs for sure. Those guys are pretty awesome. And that's essentially why they're here. They got that late pick versus the Rams, and here we are, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I look at this as I don't see anything different. I don't see what they could throw at us that would be a world beater. They struggled against the Rams. They're still struggling against the Rams. I just don't see it. Like they're gonna want to run the ball, everything is for them is predicated off the run. So if we can stop the run, which we still haven't allowed a 70-yard rusher this season, like if we can stop the run, I think that takes away, like you said, they're going to be frustrating DK. And honestly, I love that you mentioned Tyler Lockett. He is the best receiver on that team in my opinion. Like, and it's criminal. It's criminal to me how they go straight to DK all the time and they don't talk about Lockett more. The Lockett has got just as many yards as DK. He's got more touchdowns, and and I think he's just a better overall receiver. That's I know that this would be criminal, but if he was on that Rams offense, with Matt Stafford and all that, I think he could have done the same thing that what's his name for the Rams, their big receiver, and I can't think of his name right now, like because he's been out all season, but their big receiver, I think he could be just as good as the Triple Crown guy. Like if he was in a pass heavy offense, you would see it. You would see it like that he is just I haven't seen a team that can really stop him. So but that's the only guy that I worry about. I don't worry about DK because they're just going to do the same thing that they did last game, which is just shadow him with Mooney, and and I think that just frustrated the garbage out of DK, and it put him in a spot where they were even trying to put DK in the slot to get him away from Mooney, and it's when you're spending that much time trying to scheme up ways to get DK the ball, it's going to take you out of your game plan. And when this 49er offense is humming the way that it is, you don't have time to try new stuff.
It's fact.
Yeah, so it's because the 49er offense, from what I've seen, the most impressive part is that they're going to continue to put pressure on you the whole game because they're going to field goal, and then they get a touchdown, field goal. But there's not much punting going on. And and so it's always going to be pressure. And so I just don't see how, especially the fact that it's going to be at home for the 49ers, I just don't see how that's going to be, how they're going to find some magic elixir and all of a sudden be able to beat, because our guys are just better than theirs. And we talked about the weapons. I mean, the 49ers just have, even if people forget that we're just now bringing Debo and Elijah Mitchell back. Those guys haven't been here and they've still been putting up 30 burgers on people. So what you gonna do? I don't